me get some stuff together for the coronavirus? Yeah, I've got toilet paper and Purell. That's it's not exactly what I meant. What? It's for the zombie hordes. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Josh, I am the Injured Outdoorsman. Let's talk security advice. This is coming from me previously working law enforcement, as well as a victim of 2 times my outbuilding had been broken into, and then about a year later our house was broken into. So coming from the experience as a law enforcement officer, and then as well as those 2 break-ins, I'm presenting this to you. There's 2 things I want to address in this video. The first is general security, and the second is security advice for people with disabilities. If you have guns, valuable documents, or anything else of value that you want to store in a safe, please buy a real gun safe. These will run about $1,000, but it is well worth the investment, even if you have to put it on a credit card. We had one of those stack-on security cabinets, and that was easily broken into with a crowbar, and everything in there was stolen. This included 6 guns, one of which was my grandpa's, passports and social security cards, as well as an external hard drive and our marriage certificate. If you leave on vacation, put a hold on your mail. Do not post any pictures of your vacation or vacation plans to any of your social media platforms. This will only alert potential thieves to your absence. Make sure that your lights are on a timer, or you've got a smart house or something like that, so that it looks like someone's there. Now let's talk perimeter of your house. You should make sure that any and all landscaping around your house is trimmed so that you can clearly see out of your windows. You should also make sure that any shrubbery around the house is small enough to where it won't conceal a human. This one's kind of out there and not feasible for some people. But if at all possible, have a garage or a barn or something that can conceal your vehicles so that someone driving by doesn't know if you're home or not. If you just simply have cars in a driveway or a carport, someone driving by every day will notice that you're gone. Cameras around your perimeter are also a very good idea. For the police to be able to catch the perpetrators and hopefully recover your stuff, they need as much evidence as possible. Cameras create that evidence. If you don't like the idea of it being hooked up to the internet for someone to be able to hack, you can just have it on a CCTV system that records on a hard drive. Another point to talk about when speaking of your perimeter, it's a good idea to have motion-activated lights. You can get solar-powered motion-activated lights at a variety of stores for relatively cheap. It's a good idea to have those on the perimeter of your house, as well as on every outbuilding. You should also lock any and all outbuildings. Next, you should switch out your locks to a double-sided keyed deadbolt, meaning that you have to use the key for both the outside of the door as well as the inside. What happened to us was they busted out the window in the door, reached inside, and turned the deadbolt. You should also replace the screws attaching the mounting hardware to your door frame with 3.5-inch deck screws. It's not the door that typically gives way when it's kicked in. Rather, it's the door frame. Speaking of door hardware, make sure that hinges are on the inside of doors, and that any hardware that, say, mount a hinge onto the door is not exposed to the outside. You should also invest in a home security system. We had a magnetic door alarm that wasn't connected to a security system. They simply ripped that off the door, took out the batteries, and that was that. A very good, cheap one that we went with was Simply Safe. With Simply Safe, even if internet cords are cut or the power is cut to your house, it's battery operated and it works off the cellular network. So as long as the cell tower is still up, it can still contact the authorities. Now let's talk some security advice for people with disabilities. I want to raise awareness about my disability as much as the next person. But having an external symbol, say a garden flag or a wreath with your ribbon on it, announces to the world that in this house you probably have medications and you're probably less likely to fight back against an intruder. This goes for your car as well. It announces to the world that you might have medications in the car. Let's talk about the trend of having gun stickers on your vehicle. I know you want to support PSA or Daniel Defense or whoever your favorite manufacturer is. However, when you're not in that vehicle, it only makes your vehicle a target, saying that, hey, there's probably a gun in here. When you leave your vehicle, check your car for any valuables. Then place all of those in the trunk. Having a small safe under your car seat is not a bad idea, especially if you're carrying a gun. Criminals, just like you or I, learn from experience, and they use tactics. The tactics that they learn say that elderly people, women, by and large, and people with disabilities are weaker than your average criminal and can be overpowered. That's why I'm a huge component of concealed carry, especially if you have a disability, and people can see it. If your disability doesn't restrict you from carrying a firearm. I'm in a wheelchair part-time, and so I make sure that anytime I go out, but especially when I'm going to be in a wheelchair, I have a way to defend myself, as well as my wife pushing me. I knew all this advice before my house was broken into, but for whatever reason, I didn't follow through, and ultimately, I paid the price. So please, learn from my mistakes, so that you don't wind up another statistic. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you outside.